This video is intended to teach you how to install the Southern Car Parts curb alert that has been customized for the Corvette C5. It makes for a very easy, quick installation that you can do in less than an hour and allows you to install it in a Corvette C5 without any other modifications needed to the curb alert. It allows for professional installation and everything comes crimped, wired, ready to go. So all you got to do is follow the instructions in this video, use the Southern Car Parts custom Corvette C5 curb alert package, and you'll have your curb alert installed, professional looking install. You'll be installed, up and running in no more than an hour. Any average person can do this installation. So just follow along and you'll have a very pleasant, easy installation. Before you begin your curb alert installation, one of the first things you're going to want to do is decide exactly where you want to mount the curb alert mini sensor or curb alert sensor. This is pretty important because you're going to need to put it in a place that's not very noticeable and a place that can easily have a clear line of sight to any approaching obstacles such as a curb. There's two prime places to mount it on a Corvette C5. The two most common places is right in the front of the nose, up under the license plate, the front license plate mounting point, right about here, right there. Another prime place that is offset a little but not noticeable at all is right up under the frame rail here. You can see the frame rail and then the curb alert mounts right there. Both places are real easy to install. The curb alert fastens with double-sided tape, either here, or of course you could do it on the other side over there. We chose this side just because that's what we chose, no particular reason. But anyway, so once you decide where it's going to go, the next thing is to go ahead and run your wires for the sensor, and we'll go ahead and do that process now. So we got the curb alert already stuck in place, and then I'll show you how to run the wires. So after you've chosen your location for the curb alert, either on the frame rail or on the front nose of the car, getting it up into the passenger compartment, the sensor wire is really quite easy. One of the easiest ways to do it is either whether you mounted it on the frame rail or you mounted it on the front bumper, you can bring it up by your intake and around your radiator shroud quite easily. So you can see below, right down there, you can see the sensor wire right there as it comes to that little daylight opening. You can see it comes through, runs under the radiator shroud, and then comes up right here. You can see the pointer kind of showing where it goes down and through, and then comes right out and up. So really quite easy. Here's the sensor wire. You can see it right here coming up from behind the radiator shroud. And then you can follow it along here, trace it along, running around the windshield washer reservoir. And then you can either go up and over the battery compartment, or you can go around it here. We chose to go down and up through the bottom and then come back out. There's the sensor wire right there. You can see it. And then across the battery, and then we go in through here. It's simply just a matter of just using common sense and tucking it out of the way. Literally, you go around the weather stripping here, tuck it in right underneath the hinge, clasp here. You can see it right there as it goes around the body molding. Tuck it in around the quarter panel, the front right quarter panel. You can see it there. Tucked down in. You can't see it really because it's tucked down in the body panel. There's a groove there and it goes right inside. Really quite easy. You can see if I run my finger there, it just tucks right down and falls inside there. So now you've already got, so your sensor is in the place you want it, and then you've got your sensor wire routed all the way up into your door jamb. And that's all relatively easy, maybe takes 10 minutes to do. Okay, so we've got our sensor wire routed now down through the quarter panel, around into the door jamb. And you can see it right here as it comes in. There's your door jamb, there's your wire. And then we're going to simply take it and tuck it through this weather stripping here, right here. You can see I can stick my finger, get a better shot of this. You can see I can literally take my finger and just tuck it right back in here. You can stick your finger all the way through that weather stripping there and bring your wire then through the other side. So I'm going to set the camera down and go ahead and do that. I'll tuck it through, and that'll get our sensor wire into the passenger compartment. I'll show you when that's done. Okay, so the next thing is we've got it through the door jamb. You can see the wire right there coming through. Check through the weather stripping, coming out the other side. We popped this little body panel clip right here. Just popped it out. We're gonna take the wire, pull this back to get this on the back side of the body panel clip. And we're gonna take the wire and just run it right down this little seam here. Thank God the body panels in the Corvette aren't, you know, an exact fit, so it gives us a little bit of a gap to play with. And we're gonna just take the cable, once we get it behind this body panel, run it along here and tuck it in. And then it'll disappear behind the body trim and end up in our footwell. So I'll go ahead and do that and then show you what it looks like. But if I do it right, you won't be able to even see the wire anymore, other than where it transitions right here through the door jamb into the weather stripping. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So as you can see, I haven't put the body clip back in yet. The wire goes in. Well, you can't even see it because it comes out of the weather stripping right there. There's a little bitty piece of bit of the wire you can see transitioning to the body panel. And then it goes behind this body trim, goes down in that seam, gets pushed back in, goes in here. Now it's in our passenger compartment. So we've gotten the wire from the front of the car, from the mounting point all the way into the passenger compartment. We got the sensor wire. So that's done. We can finish this. Put this clip back in place. Snap it in. Done. Wipe that little bit of dust off and we're done. Nice and clean install. The wires are all hidden, tucked away, nice and neat. And as we route it through the engine compartment, we kind of use the included zip ties with the curb alert to get the wire out of the way and make a nice clean install. So the hardest part's done. Now, if you ended up getting the curb alert from Southern Car Parts with a custom C5 install package, the rest of it's gravy. It comes with everything you need, and it's a nice clean install. So we'll go ahead and start to that process next. So once you get your sensor wire run, the next thing is you're going to have to get into your fuse compartment on the bottom of the passenger side floorboard. Once you pull back the hidden compartment of the invisible floor, or the false floor in your passenger compartment, this is what you're going to see. First thing you want to do is just go ahead and remove the fuse box cover. You just pop off, unscrew it and pop it off, set it aside. And this is the beauty of the C5, unlike the C6, is the C5 already has a spare fuse slot ready to go. I think it's fuse 22. Yeah, it's 22 on your schematic, but it's this one. You can see it empty right there. That's what we're going to be using to hook the curb alert into. And then we're going to be using this point right here for our ground. So once you get that pulled back, this is where the real simplicity of the Southern Car Parts curb alert comes into play, because it's already pre-fused, as you can see here, with a connector that'll plug right into your fuse box. So you just can take it and plug it into fuse spot 22, as we're doing here. Take it, slip it in, like so. It's in place. And then we're going to attach the ground. So now when we fasten our ground, we're going to be using this hole at the bottom of the BCM clip right here. Right there. Hopefully you can see it, little hole. And there's a little plastic, soft plastic behind it. And that we're not using that to fasten the screw in necessarily, the ground screw. We're using it more, we just need to drill a little pilot hole with the self-threading screw that's included with the curb alert, so the BCM tab will sit flush on there like it did before. So we're going to use a 1/8 inch drill bit and just easily, it's soft plastic, just drill through there and it'll push right through. Well, that's it. I mean, there's nothing to it. So now there's a 1/8 inch pilot hole in that soft plastic, and now we can fasten our ground to the BCM base right there. That's about the best ground in the passenger floor compartment we could find. So we'll go ahead and do that and screw it in. Okay, so you can see we used the little pilot hole we drilled right here, and then we went ahead and fastened the self-tapping screw into the bottom tab of the BCM. And we've got our ground hooked up. So we've got our positive over here in the spare fuse slot 22 of the fuse block. We've got our ground here, nice and secure. And of course, it comes out very easily. It doesn't affect the car in any way. I mean, it's a perfect place to ground the curb alert. So now we've got our ground, we've got our Sensor wire coming in here. And it's all a matter of just hooking everything up to the curb alert, calibrating it, and we're off and running. I mean, so we've got our curb alert plugged in, and one thing I want to note is when you put it in, you want to put it with the wire facing up so it can ride out the top of the fuse box and then down around, because that's where the opening is on your fuse panel. Bundle all your wires up, tuck them in down here on the BCM. We got the ground hooked up underneath that. We showed you that earlier. And we're going to go ahead, plug the speaker in into the control module. We're not going to mount it yet because we're going to use that to help us calibrate it. We can set it outside the car so we can hear it. And we'll go ahead and put the fuse cover back on. So I'm going to start the car, and once you start it, you should hear if you got everything hooked up right, you should hear the speaker chirp 3 times outside the car. You know, obviously I've got the speaker sitting right out there on the front of the car, but hopefully the camera will pick it up, but we'll make sure, hopefully it'll chirp. And it did. Hopefully you guys heard that, but that 3 chirps tells us the curb alert has power, it's activated and ready to roll. And we'll leave the car running and go ahead and calibrate it. So the speaker's still on the car. I'm just going to go with the default calibration out of the box and see how that works. Typically I'd use the curb alert box. Me not thinking ahead, I don't have a curb alert box with me. I'd already left it in my other car, so I'm just going to use something as simple as just a halogen light box. But ideally anything the size of a curb, or ideally even better, is your curb alert box. You just slide it forward, and we should hear the curb alert go off as the box approaches the car, just like a curb. Should have heard the 3 beeps. Hopefully you guys can hear it. Do it again. Slide the box forward slowly. So that gives us, if you look there, that's about perfect, right out of the box. That's roughly about 20 inches, which is what the curb alert is calibrated for. So we don't need to do anything. That's about perfect for me, because it still gives me 20 inches buffer to stop before running the car up on a curb. That's it. Now it's just a matter of going back in, taking our speaker, moving it back inside the car, and then that's our finished installation. You can't even tell the curb alert's there. The speaker's mounted up under here. No wires sticking out anywhere. Everything's nice and neat, professional looking, and done. That's it. Thank you.